show is by the 100 Successful Women in Business Network, a division of the Global Trade Chamber. And our mission for this series and for the Successful Women in Business Network is to connect, educate, inspire, empower, and recognize women from many nations and industries that are making a difference around the world. Today, we'll talk about fashion and overcoming different challenges. Our special guest is Miss Vinette Grant with her amazing story from a stroke survivor to international recognized designer. Welcome, Vinette.
Hello, both of you. It's so nice to be here. Thank you so much for putting me on your platform. It's a great honor.
Finally, we see her in person. This is beautiful. I've seen her in a book.
Yeah.
We haven't had a chance to talk to her in detail about her story. What a story.
That's another news for us, right?
Oh, did you hear about this book?
Oh,
have you seen the book?
Did you see the book?
Did you see
I've seen it.
We all have the book. So this is an amazing lady that is in England.
I am. I'm in London.
And you were originally from where?
I was born in Jamaica.
Okay.
Yes, so I've been over here since I was 3. So in London, yeah. Came over with my mother.
A long way from home.
Yes, certainly is.
Well, when
But
she was
great. It's great to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's awesome. So you go to Jamaica much or no?
Not enough, I would say.
Okay.
I'm really hoping to have a family get together with my 3 children and my grandchildren, just to introduce them to the whole of Jamaica, and in fact, introduce myself as well, because I don't know anything about it.
Oh, that's awesome. So what we wanted to, first of all, learn about what you're doing now, which is related to fashion. Tell us about that.
Right. Well, I've been a designer since I was 8, and I think that's a common story. 8 seems to be the age that people start getting the ideas of what they want to do with their future, in my case anyway. And I trained, my parents trained me. My parents were, my late parents were designer, tailor, dressmaker, and then I went on to study fashion. I've been a teacher, and I want to go back to teaching as well, because I was teaching young people, not only girls, young men as well, to get creative with themselves, because a lot of youngsters have got the creativity but don't know how to express it. So it's a great way to get the youngsters involved and express themselves. So that's what I want to do. I also taught adults of all ages to prepare their portfolio to get on entry into colleges for further education. So that's quite gratifying, actually. Currently, I am doing several things, but to do with fashion, I'm creating my next collection. Yeah, that's going to be shown. I won't say where yet, but I also want to get back into the high street if there's a high street left to since the pandemic. There's quite a few stores that are have now sadly gone because of the pandemic.
Wow.
I still want to get my garments back in there as I did in the beginning.
So what's High Street?
Which high street?
What's High Street? What is it?
Where all the shops are.
Oh, in England.
Yes, in England. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
Next year, you're gonna be there next year.
Yes, so you're gonna
take next year.
You'll take us.
I hope there's a high street left when you come.
Wow.
Oh, nice. But talking about streets and fashion, I also know that Vinette presented her collection in London, in the Fashion Week in London, but also in New York. And when I was reading her story, she said that she presented the fashion show collection in New York after that you had the stroke, right?
Yes,
so
that's
what
right.
About that, Vinette?
The first show I did after my stroke was in Dubai, and I actually didn't have, my balance is not 100% now still. When I'm tired, you notice that there's a bit of a problem. But yeah, when I went to Dubai with my daughter, Laura Campbell, thank God for her, because she just took over everything, all the fitting of the models and everything else. She did it because I really had to just sit it out. But it was wonderful. And it gave me confidence again to start, because I was worried that I would never be able to do my first love again, which is fashion.
Wow.
I would say fashion saved my life, because as well as my children, if they're listening, you know, because that's what keeps the spirit alive, isn't it? If you've got something that you're passionate about, you really do need to keep going. It helps with your mental health as well. You know, because if you feel that you've lost your ability and your first love, it's very, very hard. So that's
especially in the fashion industry, that, you know, everything is about creativity.
Yeah.
You really need to have, you know, the passion to create all these designs
And energy, because they're moving all the time. Amazing.
But at the same time, Vinette, this industry, the fashion industry, is very competitive, very aggressive. And I'm sure that you have your ups and downs in this industry. Tell us more about the challenges that you went through during, you know, at the beginning, at least, when you were starting to be a fashion designer.
Yeah, especially in a country like Jamaica that's not known for fashion around the world. So what an incredible story.
Yeah, well, I did all my studying here in the UK. And when I first finished my training, I was trying to get jobs everywhere, and you ring up, and I mean, I sound pretty English, don't I? So when you ring up and you say, do you have can I see about this vacancy that you have advertised? And they say to me, you know, straight away when they hear my name, which is traditionally Jamaican, yeah, suddenly the vacancy is no longer there. And it was a challenge, because I knew I could do the job, and it was just so frustrating that he wouldn't even give me a chance, you know, because, you know, back then, I mean, we're talking just a few years ago, it was more challenging, and Caribbean designers weren't, as you say, weren't as well known. They wouldn't expect, I don't think a lot of us Caribbean women or people of color went into the industry, because they were probably told at school that by the careers advisors that there's no chance. That, you know, I was lucky. My careers advisor believed in me, and she knew about me, and she encouraged me. So she even went with me to find a college, and that was amazing.
Wow. That's amazing. So would you say that years ago it was predominantly men-dominated industry?
Male? Did you say male-dominated?
Yes, male.
Now this is tricky, isn't it? Because you're going to
Well, it's a trick question.
Okay, right. When we've got designers like Yves Saint Laurent and Dior, and, you know,
Yes.
obviously they're the big names, and swimming just below are the women. I mean, yeah. So maybe, without getting into too deep conversation, it's possible that to say, you're trying to get me into trouble now, aren't you?
How would I ever do that? I'm the minority here. I'm always the minority. It's all women all the time. But it's an incredible story. I would say from stroke to fashion. That's just an incredible blessing to be able to come back and to have a daughter that was so supportive that made it even easier. It's a blessing. It's a miracle.
I do feel happy and so blessed to be here.
And also, Vinette, being a designer, when we talk about fashion industry, it's not just about creating the, you know, different designs or working on a collection, but behind that is actually an enterprise, because you need to be an entrepreneur, you need to be a business person, in your case, a businesswoman, to know where you're going to focus on, what is the market, how you're going to also, you know, make a profitable business of your in this case, your collections, because it's not just about passion, because you also need to pay your bills, right? And you need to make sure, you want to make sure that you succeed in whatever you do. And having said this, what you can say about the business aspect for, all these young designers that want to start a career, or they already are in this industry, how they can be successful in this industry?
Right, that's a very big question. I don't think it's been addressed enough at colleges and universities. We didn't have a section on our course that introduced us to business and having your own business. It was always geared towards working for another person, another company. But when you first qualify and there are no jobs that you're being given, you're forced into having your own company. So I have been very lucky. I know I've been unlucky in some ways, but I know you have to make your luck. So when I left college, I wanted to take up a buying course at Harvey Nichols. And have you heard of Harvey Nichols in Knightsbridge?
Yes, I heard of the name. Yes.
And I was so lucky because I went every lunchtime to the Kensington High Street boutiques that are no longer there, unfortunately. And I took my samples. I was a knitwear designer then. And I took my samples to sell to the buyers in the high street. And I think we've got to get back to the roots of doing things like that, back to the basics, because it's not going to run to you. You've got to do it yourself. And I actually don't recognize myself. I was 21. I thought, I don't know if I could do it now, but anyway, I did it. And I'm only 21, of course.
You had no fear.
Then, yes. And one day I was coming back late from one of my shopping trips, and my buyer called me over, and I said, "Oh God, she knows." And she said to me, "What is this I'm hearing that you're out selling your garments to other boutiques and you're not showing me?" I said, "Because you're the buyer of Harvey Nichols, one of the buyers. Why on earth would I assume that you'd be even slightly interested?" And she said, "Right, well, I want you to design a collection of knitwear to coordinate with her separates." And I it actually makes me feel teary now that she had the guts to do that for me. I mean, that could have gone badly wrong. And so, I mean, this is what I say to young people. They need to have backup. You can't do it on your own. Absolutely, you can't. If you can get an agent, I think that would be, I wish I'd had an agent back then, because I would have probably flown earlier.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But you've got to put yourself out, and you've got to let people know who you are, and make sure you stick to your aesthetic. Your design ideas must reflect you, because otherwise it's just going to be fake. And it's, you want your clothes to represent you.
So you have to be original. Definitely have to be original. It reminds me of Maria when she started her school modeling.
Right.
At 17, and she actually went and talked to people, but the difference is that she was bringing her mother to collect the checks.
That's true.
So she brought her mom, but she was fearless. And that's a thing that you have to recognize when you're young, that you're not overwhelmed by all the bad experiences or the young ages when you go out and do it. And that's what I think you both have in common. That's phenomenal.
Well, besides that, we love fashion. We love, all that industry. Absolutely. Yeah. And when you are young, they don't trust you. They believe that you cannot do things. But it's about also consistency, persistency. And I just remember, in a second, I started thinking about all that time when I started the school, and it was very difficult, especially because, back in that time, the environment, like you said, it was more predominant by male.
Yes.
And I was young, woman, And then, in that market, it was very difficult, but at the same time funny when I was going with my mom and I was telling my mom what to say. So that was really funny. But I'm here and I love what I did in the past, like you do, Vinette.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about your story, because I know that, people can read more here in the book, but perhaps you can mention a little bit about your childhood.
Oh, you do know that I... This could be a 3-hour show. I mean, I'm not 21 anymore. So, yeah, so we'll go back. My mother and my father, as I said, were tailors and designers and dressmakers. So we used to work together. My favorite memories are when we used to be in the workroom that they'd made at home, at the family home. And we just used to work without even saying a thing because we were just so contented. It was great. So, but they taught me how to be with customers, because in the home, there were clients coming in the house. They were buying fabrics all the time. So I was surrounded by beautiful fabric, good quality fabric, colors, and some of them very colorful customers as well. So that was my grounding. She bought an old sewing machine, the Singer one. I don't know, you probably don't know that one. No, don't say that.
No,
The one with the handle.
Is that a blender?
Right, okay.
That's why
the handheld one, you sew it with you wind it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's giving away slightly. Yeah, so she used to cut out pieces of fabric into garments and get all my sisters and I to sew. My sisters weren't interested because I'm the oldest, and I thought it's going to fall on me to take this baton. So I did, and luckily I love it. So
That's wonderful.
yeah.
I understand that you have received some awards. Can you mention a couple of them?
It sounds so... anyway, I will. One of them that I'm really proud of, I mean, I'm proud of all of them because someone's nominated me, obviously, so that's fantastic. But the one that makes me pleased even more is the Stroke Association award, because I don't know if you know him, but anyway, an A-lister or C-lister actor was the one that was chosen to I must say, he selected me, let's put it that way, as one of the award winners. And shall I get it for you? It's just behind me. Do you want to see it?
Yes, I see it. Wow, nice. I was going to ask actually
From
about
the
the picture.
Stroke Award. Wow.
Right. And it's signed by HRH, the Duke of Kent.
Wow.
And I'm really proud of that, because at one stage I was in a wheelchair when I first had the stroke. I couldn't walk alone, unaided. And when I went for 2 weeks like that, unable to walk, then they sent me to rehab for another 2 weeks. They got me up walking. My daughter was doing the show for me while I was in hospital because she knew. I know, it's incredible. Yeah, my daughter took over a show for me, and one of my daughter-in-laws as well. And there was also 2 beauty contestants that I had fitted before my stroke, and I didn't want to let them down. I'd had the dresses ready, so my daughter did that as well. She brought them along so that they didn't miss out on their garments. So I think the the OTs, occupational therapists, could see that I was really burning to get up and do something, but was frustrated. So they pushed me. I mean, they didn't leave me alone for a second. And I'm so grateful to them for that, because I would have just maybe said maybe later, but, come back later and I'd try and get up off the bed. but they pushed me so hard. They took my Zimmer frame away, and I was completely floored. Well, what am I going to do without my Zimmer frame? You took it away. I can't believe I said that, a Zimmer frame. I mean, you know, how to make someone feel even older. But yeah, so they pushed me a lot, and I know that without that support, I wouldn't be the way I am now. I have a slight weakness on my left side, but nothing you'd notice.
We have no way of knowing that you had a stroke, and I am amazed that her business did not stop while she was in the chair in the hospital. It seemed seamless. This unbelievable. So, and the fact that the people at the hospital actually pushed her, when today the people at the hospitals want to throw you out, they actually helped you recover. So it's a whole different world.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think they wanted to throw me out as well, but anyway.
Well, definitely Vinette is going to be one of the designers next year, because we're going to do the annual convention in London. And you definitely need to be there. We are preparing a fashion show. We want to have your collection there. So
I would love to.
I need a new tux. Do you do tuxes?
I'm sorry, I don't do male.
It's always the women. Oh, man.
But she can refer somebody.
Yeah, I'm sure she
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
So we're so excited to get to meet you, give our viewers and listeners, because this is going to be in our YouTube channel for years to come. So it's always going to be people that want to learn about coming back from a major challenge in life. And what you do in your business is not just for fashion, but you inspire and motivate young people to do what they have in their heart, do it honestly, don't fake it just to try to make it. And people do that all the time. So your lesson is not only for in the fashion industry, you really have a great story to share with young people all over the world in every industry.
And if you want to read more about Vinette and other amazing ladies, don't forget to get the book, The 100 Most Successful Women Around the World. We're so excited and happy about this book, because more companies, more retail stores are picking up the book. The new company was Target.
Yeah, the Target stores, which is huge in the United States, just picked up the book.
And I know that in London, we're doing great with
everywhere.
the book.
And just went out in South Africa last week. So your story is being shared all over the world, and we are so happy to have you in our family, to know you, and your sweet smile just brightens the room.
I'm just always happy now. I mean, because I know I do feel like I'm a miracle. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So
you are growing a third generation. Now you're growing a third generation of family in fashion. That's incredible. We're so proud of you and so happy to have you today. We do have to move on because it's happy hour for me. Did I say that? Never. And I do miss my Jamaican rum since the pandemic. I have to find
the 100% proof.
The white one. Oh my goodness. I couldn't walk for days, but it's okay.
Dangerous. It's dangerous.
But it's delicious. Everything Jamaican, the food, everything's delicious. So you still have that in you. We have to bring it back.
Yeah. So, okay. When you come over, I'll cook for you.
Oh wow. Okay.
Okay. We appreciate your time. I know you're extremely busy, but your story has to be told, and it is now. And people will be inspired and motivated by what you're doing, not just what you have done, but you got long time.
And also, hello, Caroline. How are you?
Oh, Miss Macaca is online. She is one of our best partners and friends, and she's made a lot of these relationships possible.
Absolutely.
So that's a great thing to have Miss Caroline Macaca from England also. So it's going to be a wonderful year. And next year when we come to England, I can't wait. I'm going to stay like 6 months. 6 months probably. Thank you for everything, your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vinette.
Thank you so much, guys. I really enjoyed myself. Thank you.
Us too. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, definitely.
Bye-bye. All of our viewers. Bye.
Bye-bye now. Have a nice weekend.